so much for joining us again on our second episode of Let's Chat with Wholeness Mommy. I'm so happy, I'm so excited to be here. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited. Anyway, my name is Patricia and I'm your host. Today, we are having very wonderful guests with us. They are going to be sharing with us a beautiful topic, which is how to have a healthy and successful relationship after kids, and better yet, after the kids have left, how to go along with it and how to keep our relationship going even after the kids have how to manage our relationship. Anyway, that's the major point. But we're having wonderful guests and they're going to be sharing with us. So stay put, invite your friends to be part of this. Thank you so much for joining us. Anyway, guys. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, introduce yourselves. Whom am I speaking to?
Okay, my name's Dawn and I'm married to Brian.
Okay.
I'm married to Dawn.
You're the Brian. Okay, that's it. So generally today we are going to just be sharing about you guys. We just need a clear picture of we're just going to be sharing a story with you guys, and you're going to be helping us and helping our viewers how to go along with their relationships, how to go along with their marriages. So first of all, how long have you been married?
33 years. Yeah.
Wow,
yes.
That's a very long time. It's a very long time. So we are really, really inquisitive and we are really, really excited to know about your story, how you've managed to go along with it all this time. How has it been? So first of all, we need to know, what's your story? How did you guys meet?
We were working with children during school holidays.
Yeah.
I just arrived in London in the UK, and we met at one of these centres where children were being looked after while their parents worked. So
Yeah.
we kind of met around the table tennis table, playing table tennis.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So
And I used to kick his ass.
okay. So usually I find that in most couples you find that one couple has a different version of how they met and the other one has a different version of how they met. So do you have the same version? I guess
It's the same version.
It's the same version. Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's go deep into this. First of all, we're going to talk about what has been that major aspect that has kept you guys, apart from the fact that you are really love each other. What has been that major part that has been the stronghold between the two of you?
I'd say it was trust.
I
trust Brian.
That's what
I don't know if you trust me. No, I trust Brian. So.
In fact, I was trying to push you guys towards that, because there was a time we had a conversation, and then you talked about trust. I wanted to really go into that. So let's talk about trust. Yeah, like you say. So as trust, we're going to first of all talk about that, and as our viewers want to know, in relationships, is it trust built, or it's something that you just had like all the way through?
No, built.
It's something you
I think
build
it builds.
with
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and it's something. I mean, I think some people innately trust unless they're given a reason not to trust.
Okay.
I certainly feel that. Certainly when I'm working with children, I will automatically trust until they give me a reason not to trust them. So I think the strength of the trust grows, as Dawn said, I think through people's behaviour. So if you're not given any reason to doubt, if you're not given reason, then that trust remains strong.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Okay, that's great. So now one thing I need to some other thing before we go ahead with our question, with our interview and our discussion, we need to find out, do you have children? Do you have grandkids?
We got 2 grown children.
Yeah.
One who's 30 and one who's about to be 35.
Okay, that's great. So let me ask something. You have grandkids as well?
2 grandchildren.
Okay. So Dawn, I need to find out something. Anyway, I guess not just me, but the viewers would want to know. Sometimes you find in relationships that, before anything goes, during relationship, before you go into any relationship, there is that something you find out on your partner that really makes you believe that this is the right person I want to spend my life with. So I want to ask you a simple question. before you met Brian, I'm sure there were so many men that were around. But what made it so clear for you that he is the right person that you want to spend the rest of your life with?
You know, that's a good question.
Yeah.
We clicked. It just fell into place when we met. It wasn't anything. It wasn't a year of dating or 6 months of dating. It just fell into place. It wasn't like love at first sight.
Yeah. But
It's always lust at first sight, but it wasn't just that. But yeah.
Okay, it was just love at first sight that
No, it wasn't.
It
wasn't love.
at first sight.
It was
So
lust.
What was that thing that made you so sure that having met this one and that one, but I believe that Brian is the one and I want to spend the rest of my life with?
It just fell into place. I can honestly say to you that when we got together, it was just...
Yeah, it just felt natural. It felt like a positive relationship, and it just grew from the beginning. It wasn't something that we really had to work hard at, in a sense. It just felt like this was right. It felt like it was positive. We agree on lots of things, but we also got very many differences, and I think that's also important, that that you're not trying to be a carbon copy of the other person. You have your own individuality, but there's enough in common philosophically, emotionally, politically, that we agree on to enable us to have a positive lasting relationship.
Okay. So now we need to go deep down into our topic, because today our major topic was how to go along with our relationship after having kids, because you've had so many relationships being there, and like they really love each other and they're really happy, but when the kids come in, it becomes really hard for them. So we would like to know, how did you guys manage to go over those years with the kids? Now that all your kids are really grown-ups, like you said, how did you manage to go through those years with them and still keep balance your relationship and the kids as well, and manage to put them off and let them go into the world alone now?
Well, going back to what Brian said, we have the same views on stuff. On most
That's
stuff.
really rare.
And the same views as in Ray, and we're both in child related jobs. Child related jobs.
So you had experience with kids, both of you. You had experience.
Well, yeah, because I've got siblings as well, and Brian's got a sibling. But the issue is that we both think the same way about children and raising them.
I mean, they were, even though we may not have planned meticulously when we were going to have them, they're viewed as an asset, if you want. They're something that we collectively work together to do our best to raise them. So it didn't put a strain, as you put it, on the relationship, because we worked together to bring the children up, to give them a good start in life, and to be kind of united in the way that we brought the children up. I think sometimes there are issues when the parents have different ideas about how children should be raised, and the children can kind of sense those differences, and then they play on those differences.
They do.
We kind of agreed that we were going to be together. If we had a difference, we weren't going to air that difference in front of the kids.
So
we would discuss it afterwards and come to a united agreement about how we would deal with something that we perhaps didn't necessarily agree with in the first place.
Sometimes it wasn't united, but we made an agreement on how to work. Yes,
Okay, so I want to find out what are some of those challenges that you encountered with the kids as they grow up, and how did you manage to go over those challenges in your relationship and your kids as well?
Well, for me, one of the things was if I said the kids couldn't have something, they'd run to daddy and say, "Oh, mommy says I'm going to have this." that might have been, that was a challenge because they, you know, that's them playing us up against each other.
Okay.
That was one of the challenges.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just knowing that the primary aim is to support each other and not try and, I don't know, maybe there are some couples who, you know, want the emotional love of the child to be greater for them than their partner. Maybe, you know, for us it was about, you know, making sure the children had a stable, loving, you know, environment to grow up in, one that kind of stimulated them as well. I mean, one of the challenges that I think every parent has is about how to ensure the child gets the right kind of experiences, the right stimulation to enable them to develop and grow emotionally as well as obviously physically. And it's, you know, and each person in the relationship has different strengths or interests and can encourage and pass on those interests to the kids, so that so that they can, you know, develop their own interests through experience and knowing whether they like art or whether it be sport or whatever it might be that interests them. It's giving them that chance to experience those things and make up their own mind, really, what they want to pursue as a young person.
Okay, so we are still with a couple. Brian and Dawn, and we are still talking to them. They're still sharing with us their story and how they have managed to go over the 33 years, like he told us. So let's dig in. So we want to, you know, usually no relationship is perfect. So we want to know what are some, living along the challenges, but how have you managed to go over the challenges? Any challenge that you have encountered in your relationship and in your marriage, what are some of those ways that you've managed to go over those challenges? How have you managed? Because I'm sure for the 33 years, I don't think we didn't have any misunderstanding.
No relationship that's a normal relationship is going to go through that length of time without there being some areas of contention or disagreement. And I think if your respect and your love is strong, then the way you deal with those disagreements is through communicating, because I think if you don't, those disagreements sort of fester and grow and become really large and problematic. So it's about communicating, I think, you know, how you're feeling, and it's, I guess, listening to the other point of view, because there's two sides to every story. So you've got to, you know, listen as well as speak, and, you know, sometimes, you know, it's about compromising. You know, it's not about who's right, who's wrong all the time. Sometimes it's, you know, I'm a bit right, and Dawn's a bit right, you know, and we work our way through.
So you're all
and
sure, and we find a balance.
Yes, it's a negotiation. It's a negotiation, and it goes back to that beginning, the trust and respect, that what we're saying is honest and truthful about stuff, so that you know, we can try and make our way through whatever the problem is, and get out the other side.
Don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, it wasn't, yes, let's negotiate. Your point, my point. It wasn't like that. It took a while. Remember, we've been together for a long, long time. And at the end of the day, we did go through times where, like, I'm not talking to you. But it only lasted for about half hour with us, really, didn't it? Really, and he didn't not talk to me. I was the one who was not talking. I was like, I'm not talking to you. But
you go back.
Oh God, you know, when you get to my age, you just stop that foolishness. There's no need to do it anymore. There really is no need to do it, because if I'm not talking to him, then how does he know what's wrong?
What's wrong with you? So you need to speak and communicate with him.
Life's too short to
And life is too short,
arguing and sulking.
That's really nice. That's really a good one. But still, Brian, I have a question. We need to find out. Are there those times because usually it's so common. I'm yet to ask Dawn about her view, but usually you find that, okay, let me not go that, but let me not go there, but let me ask this. Have you been in a situation where you wanted to communicate something to Dawn and you were not sure how she'll take it, but how did you do it? How did you manage to go about that?
I think if it's something it depends on how important it was. If it was something that's not important, sometimes you just let things go. If it's not important, but if it was something really important that I needed to get across, I suppose it's picking the right time. It's
right mood, right moment.
Well, yeah, because if
But it's
someone's busy, concentrating on something else, or dealing with the kids when they were younger, it's not the right. So you've got to pick the right time. I think if it's something where you're, I don't know, maybe offering a criticism or something, perhaps it's also about how you phrase it so that it's.
How do you offer a criticism? No one offers a criticism. They just make a criticism.
Put some ice cream.
Don't put ice cream on it. No sprinkles, nothing. Okay. Say it as it is. Sorry.
Yeah, but you've got to say it in a way that's respectful and gets across your point. It's not, you're not going to just blurt out stuff, because if you're blurting out stuff without kind of thinking about what you're going to say, sometimes that's going to end up inflaming a situation if you're not careful, and you end up into a bigger issue than you had to start with. So I think you've got to be tactful.
I agree. You've got to be tactful.
And so then you need some tactic, usually.
Yeah.
You need some tactic.
Yeah, because
some stuff.
Buy a bunch of flowers.
Flowers. Going along with our brands, and you've got to be tactful. When you blurt something out, you always say to somebody, why do you always? But they don't always. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
What happens is, at that time when they do whatever they do, is it annoys you. So it seems like it's always.
Yeah.
But that's wrong to keep saying, why do you always?
Okay, so still understanding your picture and digging deep into your story. I would still like to know something. We talked about something with you, Dawn. I'm not going to ask you about the point where you wanted to, where you had to communicate something to Brian and you were not able to. I'm sure you had a lot of tactics. As a woman, I'm sure you have those moments that I can handle.
I don't understand.
No, I know you can handle your man, so you know exactly what to do.
I can handle my man. That sounds really good.
Yeah. So, but then I'm going to ask you a question in having identified those things about Brian, then what are those things that Brian did and still does now that still make you feel that that have kept you this long together? Okay, how can I make this out? I don't know. Anyway, what are those things that Brian does that are special to you? And there are things that you really, really value. Leaving alone the fact that you like him, you love him, and what. But one of the things about him that he does that are really special to you, and I don't know.
Oh, you know what? He still makes me feel special.
Okay.
He does things to make me feel special, and that's so important. So I'm not bylined or I'm not taken for granted. Well, I am actually sometimes, but everyone does that in every relationship. Is take your partner for granted because this is what they do, this is what you do. But there are things that now and then, momentarily, what I mean, he does things that, he does care. That's it. You've got to remember. Maybe buying flowers is one of them.
Okay, anniversary, he doesn't forget.
Oh, never. He never forgets my birthday, never forgets my anniversary, never forgets Mother's Day. He still makes all those things very special. Yeah. And although we don't particularly celebrate Valentine's Day because
he's aware.
But because he's aware, he's there, he can do shit for me.
Okay, so you.
Sorry to say.
Dear viewers, you're getting this. Having been 33 years in marriage. So you've had some of their secrets, you've had some of their challenges, and you've had how they have gone over them. And then you've also had what you need to do for yourself, maybe in your relationship, to keep it going. We've been talking to a couple that has been together for 30 years, 33 years, they're going to 35 years. So try and implement some of those things, and this would help your relationship, this would help your marriage, and keep it going. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time.